Processed food ban, 5-day body transformation to slim you down fast. Hi everybody, I'm Karla Adams. Welcome to the processed food ban, 5-day body transformation to slim you down fast. If you're ready to drop the bloat, boost your energy and slim down fast, naturally, you're in the right place. This video, I'm giving you 5 powerful tips that will work in just 5 days, and they will all revolve around one simple shift: banning processed food. Yuck. Why? Because processed food is the #1 thing slowing down your metabolism, storing fat, causing cravings, inflammation, fatigue, and slowing down your transformation and possibly stopping it. I'm in firm belief that God knew exactly what he was doing when he created one ingredient foods that come from the earth. All we need to do is fix our eyes on what he preserved in his word for us. Genesis 1:26 through 1:30 clearly states that we own the foods. That's why corporations don't. And it clearly states the one ingredient foods are here to serve us. They have a job for you. Let's reset your metabolism and transform your body from the inside out by eliminating the #1 enemy. Processed food is a scam. You're being scammed out of your body, the body you love, the health, the weight, the joy, an amazing metabolism, and just basically living in the body you love on a daily basis. Who wants to live in the body they love once or twice a year? Why not enjoy it every single day? I don't live on any processed foods and get to enjoy all the benefits of one ingredient foods that God is preserving in his word for us. Tip 1, knowing what processed food really is. This can be a very confusing subject. Anything that is not one ingredient is a good rule of thumb to look for. And we want to actually start using our lenses. Some other good rule of thumbs: if you're if you're buying packaged foods, if there's more than 5 ingredients in there, you probably want to start understanding what that means a little bit more. One ingredient foods came out of the earth that way: a pear, a steak, a vegetable. God constructed those foods so perfectly with all their proteins, carbs, fats, vitamins, and minerals. The food industry hides chemicals under names that sound harmless, but these are affecting our digestion, our blood sugar, our DNA, hormones, and brain chemistry. I have links below from studies from all over the world and some of the foods here in the US. Learn to read labels, but more than that, eat food that doesn't have a label. God's label is the strongest label we can find, and our lenses are the best thing to use to find God's label. Did it come out of the earth that way? How much has it been messed with? How much has it been changed by this system? One ingredient food does not need packaging. They're made by nature. They nourish your body, not break it down. Consumerism will keep your brain distracted with all the corporate bionic foods, the excitement, the stimulation on your taste buds, on your mind, and on your ears. But we need to train in new habits. Just like somebody that lives in debt that needs to retrain themselves to manage spending. Even if spending feels good, it doesn't mean it's good for us. We've been spending too much on the processed food and not enough on the one ingredient foods that actually matches our system. Genesis 1:26 through 1:30, reading from the 1611 King James Bible, is a legal document in maritime law that corporations abide by today, that we don't even realize it. Corporate foods are owned by corporations, but the one ingredient foods that comes from the earth, we own, and it's actually preserved in his word. We've had more changes the past 200 years to our food industry than in the past 10,000 industry. So that was like when your grandmother was 5. Years 1 through 5 are the most programmable years of a person's life, and 5 through 15 are the next stages. And so it's almost like it can completely go right over our head that so many things have changed with the foods. I'm going to link Dr. Bull's Gut Health Talk in the description below. Dr. Bull is a Loma Linda doctor. Unfortunately, he's passed now, but he did an amazing talk on our gut. And one thing he talked about in his gut health talk, these are the two major points that I got out of it, is that one thing that every single medical practice agree on is that every dis-ease you can imagine all start in the colon. And then he proceeded to go into a long list of all the changes that we've had to our food industry from the start of the change in 1885. Did you know that bread used to be protein-based? It was never a carbohydrate to start. That's right. In 1885, bread changed from a protein-based process to a hybridized wheat that the corporations took over. And now it's in every bread aisle. So when you actually go down that bread aisle and you're looking down there and your eye sees a variety, they're actually chemically almost all the same thing. Almost every single one of them are 8 times more powerful on the tongue than anything you can imagine. And they have a hybridized wheat that 9 out of 10 people cannot break down in their gut. A little back history on Dr. Bull. Dr. Bull is a Seventh-day Adventist Loma Linda doctor. And Seventh-day Adventists got recognized for some of the longest living people in the world. And when you start to actually break down the old Seventh-day Adventist, not the new Seventh-day Adventist, the new Seventh-day Adventist has new trends with processed foods, but the old Seventh-day Adventists, they lived on one ingredient foods from the earth and did not eat meat. And this is one of the biggest things that Dr. Bull went through in his talk when he was talking about how every dis-ease we can imagine starts in the gut. And then he went through how the bread changed, how sodas got introduced, how fast food restaurants got introduced, and all of these different things. And you can find this in the bottom. But the old Seventh-day Adventists did not live on processed food and did not eat meat. The new Seventh-day Adventist lives on tons of processed foods. The cakes, the sugar products, I mean, anything you can imagine. This is a good teller about how processed food works. If one of the demographics that is known for living the longest never ate it. And then this also tells us a little bit about what the confusion that's going on out there, and even confusion with pushing vegetarian type diets. The vegetarian type diets that push processed foods are not good for you. And that's not the original vegetarian diet. Usually I don't recommend vegetarian diets. And the only reason why is because of how much time it takes to prepare the one ingredient foods. It's a lot harder to get all of your protein if you do a vegetarian type diet, where it's much easier if you just eat meats or proteins. And it's not necessary to become vegetarian. Our body can understand meats, proteins, vegetables, and that's where a lot of the confusion comes in, is really getting down and understanding the difference between the processed food and the one ingredient foods. I'm going to link my metabolism masterclass in here, where I actually start getting into depth into the digestion and all the different parts of the body, which start breaking down the foods, and people start to understand what they really need to do with their body and the foods when you start understanding what's happening in the actual body on a cellular level. The first step to getting lean is knowing what not to eat, and processed food is enemy number 1 for your metabolism. Tip number 2, cut out the big 4: sugar, oils, flour, and additives. These ingredients are in about 80% of the foods, and they are scamming you out of an amazing metabolism. You can actually be shopping in the vegetable section with all the beautiful salads, and it's usually the salad dressings that add this to you. So don't eat salad dressings from the store. Make your own salad dressing. Sugar creates blood sugar spikes and crashes that lead to cravings and stored fat, as well as many other confusions in the body. And it's 8 times more powerful on your tongue than any other chemical. These food chemists knew what they were doing when they created this. And they get raises if they can come up with a chemical that's even more powerful. The most euphoric feeling you can feel in the world, more than any illegal or legal drug, and even more than an orgasm, is the sugar, fat, processed carb combination. Yes, so that's like a pizza, that's an ice cream, that's a breakfast cereal. These chemicals were designed in a lab, and they're more euphoric than anything illegal or legal, and even more than an orgasm. That's powerful, and it's in our food. You can buy it for $3 at the coffee shop. It's handed out in your work environments on the table. Our lives go so fast, we're probably not even thinking when we're sitting there in a work meeting and there's chips and there's candies and there's pizza and there's stuff right out there on the table. But literally, that's the most euphoric feeling you can feel in the world. That's why we love it. That's why it's called comfort food. It actually really comforts us. It's a euphoria. It's a party in the mouth. But is this debt really worth it? And I do call it debt, because if it's not edifying us, it's taking from us. And 74% of our youth right now can't even qualify to be in the military. And processed food is a major contributor to that. So your mouth is lighting up with all these powerful sensations multiple times a day. How can any one ingredient foods compete with that type of power? I mean, like, seriously, how is a pear or an apple or a yam going to compete with the most euphoric feeling in the world? Think about that. If you want to clean up the foods, you need to get really, really real with the chemical power in your mouth. And if you want to learn more about this chemical breakdown from a practical sense and with PhD research, check out my Metabolism Masterclass, because I have a lot of PhDs that I bring up in my Metabolism Masterclass, as well as a lot of Bible quotes, because this all actually does go back to the Bible. This class will show you how smart this business model of processed food and consumerism really is. It's the most profitable business model in the world, in my opinion, is processed foods. Think about it. You own the one ingredient foods, which can be free on your own land. So as long as you own a piece of land, you can just literally harvest your own food and own it. White flour breaks down like sugar in the body, but it's worse. By the time it gets to your gut, it sticks. That's the other issue. One is in the mouth with the power of the sensation of the chemicals. The other one is by the time it gets to the last part of the digestion, it literally sticks in your gut. We just went through a class actually last week in the Metabolism Master Class, from mouth to poo hole, and breaking down all the different things and talking about how these processed foods are actually affecting different levels and other things, because there's many things affecting it, but it's all chemicals. We need to fix our eyes on the natural things, like a treasure hunt. Also, check out my video on the 9 petroleum-based dyes RFK Jr. just banned. The MAHA movement is one of the most exciting movements going on for the United States. We really need this. We need integrity in our foods. If it's sweetened, shelf-stable, fried, or fake, it's messing with your metabolism. 5 days without these, your waistline and energy are going to thank you. Tip number 3, replace, don't restrict. We don't starve ourselves at all whatsoever. You just need to swap things out with a good suggestion and start going on a treasure hunt and learning. Instead of sugary cereals, try an oatmeal or a yam or something natural with veggies. Did you know in Japan, it's very, very common that they have salads with breakfast? Seaweeds and salads and vegetables are so nutrient dense, especially things that come out of the sea. They have tons of nutrients in them. Instead of chips, you can go for some vegetables and some guacamole. You can do, instead of sodas, you can try some lemon water and herb tea. And that might sound boring off to start, but how can these one ingredient foods compete with a euphoria, the top euphoria in the world? We need to adapt our taste buds. And that's the thing that people don't realize, is your taste buds adapt. Anybody who has a dog knows that you want to keep them on the same dog food, right? And as soon as you change the dog food, what happens? They're like, I'm not going to eat that. You just changed my food. That's how our palate works. So if we kept giving them the addictive stuff, that's all they're gonna want, right? But even in the natural realm, this same exact chemical process happens. It's just at a much lower perspective. And that's where we wanna go. That's where your metabolism is really gonna take off, is when we're really just focusing on the chemistry, the natural chemistry that comes from the earth. But a dog, when you change the dog food, as soon as you wing them onto something new, then they crave it and that's all they want. The same thing happens with one ingredient foods. So as soon as you start adapting your taste buds, they start adapting and you start craving and wanting these things. So if you're starting off the bat and your mouth is like rejecting all the natural stuff, don't get discouraged, get determined. That's just one step in the process. It's part of how it works. So we just want to get past that initial feeling and just get excited about the future. I've helped so many people make the full transformation from the processed food to the one ingredient foods, and it happens every single time. Nobody is different. Some people take a little bit longer, some people need to do a little bit more cleaning up, but it all happens the same. Our chemistry and our palates are the same, and we've got to make the flip. And we've got to get ourselves addicted to the things that give us what we want. At first, this sounds boring, but so is financial planning. I've never heard anyone say, oh, I want to go do my taxes and my financial planning now. I mean, there's a couple nerds that do, but there's very, very few, right? So, but we've got to all pull up our britches and organize our money, or it's not going to do anything for us. So the same thing is with this, and it's just called adulting. Pulling up our britches, getting past the initial thing, following the science on how we work, and your taste buds will change. Believe me, they will. And then what happens when you get bored and you stop needing all the entertainment, right? Because that's what the food is. It's entertainment. This is where lifestyle change also comes in. So if you want to learn more about lifestyle change, make sure to subscribe to my channel. This channel is all on lifestyle transformation. And you can, if you want more information, you can sign up for one of my classes. We need to stop living in debt with our body and get our body to work for us and live in freedom. And freedom is living in the body we love every day, where we're pooping, we're sleeping, we feel good, our body fat cell is where we like it. Processed food is the #1 scam out there. Real food wakes up your metabolism, gets everything in here functioning amazingly, supports life, and it supports you being your best self. No one is really getting away with the processed foods, even if it looks like they do. I've been working with people for over 28 years, okay? And I get a lot of the people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and now it's actually even in the 30s, that lived long periods of times on the processed foods. And let me tell you, this is what's stopping our system from working. It might take a little bit longer for people, but it's stopping our system. And then the other thing is, there's a lot of things happening with our food that even when people are choosing the healthy stuff, they're going to the vegetable section, they're going to the salad section, there's chemicals on the food. Make sure to check out my 36 Banned Foods video, where I'm quoting a bunch of stuff with RFK and the Maha movement. We need change in our country with the processed foods. We are meant to move. We are meant to eat the foods from the earth. It's a code. If you bought a Ferrari, would you put processed food in it because the social norm was to put processed food in your gas tank? I don't think you would. And it's not part of the manual either. Social norms are powerful. We are a combination of the 5 people we hang around with the most, and 80% of the world's ideas come out of marketing and media, and this is called consumerism. America is labeled as a consumer nation. That is the social norm, is that we consume. We consume media, we consume food, we consume products, we just consume, consume, consume. This is blowing our budgets. And there's more and more chemicals on the food, even the natural foods. I keep taking more and more foods off of my clients' plates with the food chemists who keep coming up with new products that shut down our body. I can have clients travel through Europe and eat pizza and drink wine and not gain an ounce. But if you drink pizza if you eat pizza and drink wine in the United States, they put fat on all the time. Our body can handle a little bit of the processed foods. But even just with what's going on, I highly just recommend, if you're just learning about the processed food, just to really stay away from everything as much as possible to adapt your taste buds and learn. And don't blame the carbs either. The low carb language is fear mongering. The only thing low carb language is, it's a bunch of grammar and language that puts fear in somebody. Fear lowers your metabolic rate. We don't need to have fear-mongering language to moderate a carbohydrate. I've been doing exercise science and sports nutrition for 28 years. I've never done a low-carb diet, but I do put people on specific ratios of carbohydrates that match their body. But I don't need to use language that fear-mongers to do it. I've never seen anybody binge on a yam or a rice or any of these one-ingredient clean foods. It's usually anything that has to do with sugar or chemicals. Getting lean is not about eating less. It's about eating smarter. That's another thing that low carb language does, is it really geared towards people towards starvation diets, which causes a whole nother swool of issues. I have several videos on why no low carb on my YouTube channel that you should check out. When you feed your body what it's designed to digest, it responds fast. Tip number 4, watch your drinks also. Processed food isn't just what you chew, it's also what you sip too. And drinks can be a sneaky way to get a lot of chemicals in your body. Whether it's a salad dressing or a beverage or a sauce. Sauces can be some of the worst. Liquid calories sneak through coffee creamers, sugar drinks, flavored wafers, and smoothies. Smoothies is one of the biggest scams out there. Stay away from smoothie shops. They are just like this big virtue signal that just sends your metabolism into the dumps. There's hardly any smoothies that are actually really good for your metabolism. Many of these are packed with syrups, dyes, and chemicals, preservatives, and completely slow down your metabolism. And sugar. I mean, they're just like loaded with the sugar, usually. Smoothies are one of the biggest scams out there. Drinks can hide processed chemicals more easily and readily and hit the tongue. And remember, the tongue is where we feel the excitement and the euphoria, okay? And then people tend to like these drinks because when they drink something, they feel lean because their tummy is smaller. But all those chemicals are quickly going in there, shutting down stuff in your system, creating the euphoria feeling, and not helping your metabolism. And they're keeping you in the problem. Our body is meant to digest. Do not fear food. Remember, fear lowers your metabolic rate. Liquid is also a very fast way to store fat, okay? The fastest, I'll tell you the quickest way to store fat. It's the sugar-fat combination. Fats and sugars are digested in the mouth, and so when you combine fats and sugars together, that sugar is like a powerhouse for slamming that fat right into your fat cell. So if you do a liquid drink, that's the fastest way to store fat on your body. And it's a total scam because you feel lean and people are like, oh, I feel so lean, I just drink liquid. But they just slingshotted the fat right in there. I use sugar in sports nutrition for recovery. So sugar can actually be used as a positive in sports nutrition. But it's a chemical. It's a very, very itty bitty little tiny chemical that shoots very quickly through the system. I break this all down in my metabolism masterclass. The size of a molecule makes a difference on how the fat storage plays, or other benefits. This can benefit you, or it can have a negative response also. Protein molecules are huge. Carbohydrate molecules are medium. Sugar molecules are really, 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 really teeny. So how they create that euphoria feeling in your mouth is they're so teeny that it's like an explosion. And if you combine that with fat and the processed carb, that's where all the euphoria comes from. It's how fast that molecule shoots through your tongue. So it's speed. It's the speed of the molecule that stimulates you. Doesn't it make sense? Everything kind of breaks down and starts to make sense when you start understanding the chemistry and the metabolism and how things work. Another really interesting fact is food or liquid does not enter your body until it is actually absorbed into your bloodstream. So from mouth to poo hole is a tube, okay? And a lot of the issues that people are dealing with is there's a lot of food going in that tube and it's never entering the body. The average person has 5 to 15 pounds of stuff sitting throughout their system that never leaves it. So drinks and sauces a lot of times can be way worse than food because of how fast it's shooting through the system, because it's smaller in molecules. Remember I was saying that the size of the molecules makes it shoot faster through the system, so the fat gets stored faster, or issues. Whatever issue or benefit, it's going to happen faster the smaller the molecule. Sometimes the food is fine, but your body's just reacting to the salad dressing that you put on top of it or the sauce. You know, they have a salad at one of our most popular restaurants that's 1,200 calories. For a woman that does not exercise, that's her entire caloric intake in one salad. And it says chicken salad. And if you look at it, it's all this beautiful chicken, but it's because there's 800 calories in the dressing. It's this big. So know what you're eating, know what you're putting on the food, know what you're drinking. Liquids are one of the biggest, I would say liquids are one of the biggest things that can be misleading if you're just using your eyes. In a 5-day plan, focus on a lot of clean water. I put lemon on it. Lemon helps to detox. Cayenne pepper is also really good. These are lemon or lime. You do some fresh juice with the pulp. Never drink the juice without the pulp. The pulp slows it down, or fresh fruits and teas. And I'd also watch some of my videos on hydration. Eliminate the soda, the energy drink, the artificial sweeteners, and they all spike insulin, they all store fat, and they all start shifting your metabolism. We want to optimize this baby. Did you know the most advanced piece of technology on this earth is the human body? We're looking at all this really exciting technology right now with AI. Your human body is more advanced than anything else out there, but only if we actually know how it works and we work it. It's meant to move, we're meant to eat, we're meant to think, we're meant to speak. There's all these very simple things our body is meant to do. Tip number 5, understand how processed food damages your system. It only takes a few days of eating processed food to increase your body fat. And when you start doing the research on what's going on with these chemicals and what's really happening with the food, there's lots of different foods that are banned all over the world that are still okay to be served in the United States. That's why we really need this MAHA movement, because we need more chemicals banned. We don't need food banned, but we need more chemicals. We need to protect the integrity in our food. It only takes a couple days for these processed foods to disrupt your gut bacteria, increase inflammation, lower your metabolism, damage your DNA, disrupt your hormones, increase your body fat. And some of the chemicals that are on here, like the seed oils, which I did a whole video on, last up to 2 years in the body. So they literally stay in your body for 2 years. So they're literally disrupting your body for 2 years. No wonder people have a hard time getting off fat. And no wonder I keep taking more and more food off of people's plans, even if it looks like a natural food. The good news is it only takes a few days of clean eating to reverse the damage. God designed your body to heal quickly when you stop feeding it the fake foods and you get 100% on these clean foods. The innate ability for our body to heal is absolutely amazing. But if we have disruptors in there, that's what disrupts the healing process. Chemicals and processed food disrupt the healing process. That's what our metabolism is. It's our ability to heal. It's our ability to live life. It's our ability to regenerate. It's not just burning fat and digestion. Those are just 2 elements of your metabolism. In just 5 days of removing processed food, people often see clear skin, better digestion, lower weight, their tummy starts flattening out, more energy, increased metabolism, and you start becoming the best version of yourself. The issues start leaving. Now, isn't that amazing to have an absence of issues? Most people, they have this stress in the back of their head called health in my waistline. Like, I want this health and I want this waistline. I have this health thing that I stress about back here. Do you know how much that takes away from your personal life and your professional life to have those stressors back there? Do you know those stressors usually cost money also? They could cost money in medical issues, or you could go buy a bunch of products. Do you know there's industries created off of issues that have to do with anything that has to do with health or my waistline? Spend a little time and write on a piece of paper, okay, is there something in the back of my mind as I'm going through my day that's actually stressing me? Is it the way that it feels when I sit in a chair? Or is it the energy that I feel when I go up the stairs? Or is it what I feel after I eat lunch? Or, am I stressed about XYZ health issue when I went to the doctor? Like, spend a little time. And, when you write down those stressors of what they are, write down what next to it, like what money that might cost or life, right? And I would actually value the life above your money, right? Money can come and go, but money is valuable. But so many people, those different stressors take so much time. People vacation different. They choose their relationships differently. I mean, there's so many decisions that people make differently because they're not eating clean that they would make as if they were living in the body they love. I mean, take down that list, and then next to it, I would also write down, what is the body of my dreams? Like, what would I like to live in every day as a body, right? And when you write down what would be involved in that, your energy levels, how you would feel, how your waist would feel, how you would fit sitting in your chair while you're working, like whatever comes to mind for you, right? The benefits for you. And write down how you would shop differently, how you would eat out differently, if you would hang out with different people, and what your life would look like if you were that person. Because I guarantee there's going to be a huge difference between the person living on the one ingredient foods and the person living on the processed foods. So there you have it. 5 proven tips to get lean fast. And every one of them comes back to the truth. Processed food is the #1 enemy for your metabolism. Remove it for 5 days and just watch your body change. This will be one of the most exciting experiences. And if you want a complete plan with clean eating, workouts, and mindset coaching, check out my Metabolism Masterclass. We meet every single week, and I'm going through in-depth subjects. And we've also got some live weight training classes. The link is in the description, and I'll just pin it up right here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know your comments on what processed foods you're cutting out first. Let's raise our metabolic health together.